today I'm going to talk to you about double letters in calligraphy. So, if you look at something like this, which is Mastering Copperplate Calligraphy by Eleanor Winters, it's a great book. You'll see that traditional copperplate, everything looks pretty much the same. All of these lowercase letters are about the same width, all their lines are exactly parallel, the spacing is exactly the same between all of these letters. So, it's very uniform, but unfortunately, it takes a really long time to master. So, if you're like me and you're not so great at making everything look like, we have a little trick for doing double letters. So, you'll see on here she has these P's and these two L's that look almost exactly the same. They have these exact same shapes here. It almost looks like she copy and pasted it, but I can guarantee you that she did not. So, in traditional copperplate, all of the letters, there's one right way to space out and write each stroke. And therefore, when you have letters that are the same, such as these two S's right here, or these two A's, it's no problem because they just look exactly the same, because every A you're ever going to make is exactly the same. So you could put 100 of those in a row and it would look great. So if you're like me, however, and you're not quite a master of traditional copperplate, you might try to write some double letters and it might come out like this. So you try to make these two P's exactly the same. And what happens is your line's not exactly parallel. So this one's a little bit more angled here. The bowl shape is a little different. This one has a smaller angle down here. This one's a little bit more round. This one comes here and this one comes higher up. So what happens when you look at that is when you see that in a word, your eye, without really realizing why, is going to detect that as a little bit awkward. So because I've tried to make them look exactly the same and I failed, your eye can kind of look at that and think that something is a little bit off there. Okay? And this all becomes especially obvious, at least for me, with like an L. When I try to make these exactly the same, these bowl shapes are so very different. So when you look at Eleanor's calligraphy, for instance, nothing really catches your eye as being off. This whole piece just looks really, really balanced and even. So all the spacing is right, all the different widths and heights are in the right proportions. But when you look at something like this, you might think that this looks bad because even if you don't realize it, your brain is trying to see this difference between these two and figure out why that happened. And so it's going to show as a little bit off. So as a trick to kind of work around this, what I do is I purposely make them different. So in this instance, I moved it up a little on purpose, enough so that it's not like an awkward mistake like it looked like up here, but so that it looks like I did that on purpose. I also added a loop here, didn't add a loop here, so that when your brain sees that these are different, it's like, oh, she did that on purpose, not, oh, she tried to make these the same and failed. And of course, I'll do an example for you with these L's here. These are pretty drastically different. So I've done one that comes up here and one that disconnects there. They're completely different sizes. So that's a big thing that I love to do, is do a larger one and a smaller one there. And you can use this with pretty much any double letter combination that you've got. So basically, this just takes a little bit of the pressure off of making everything exactly the same. So it's a little bit of a cheat. Your traditional copperplate folks are not going to be super happy about it. But in general, it's going to make your eye notice that that was supposed to be done on purpose, and it's not going to trigger your brain that something weird is happening here. So let me know what you thought of this kind of little cheat for double letters in calligraphy. Give us a comment below if you have any questions. And as always, we would really appreciate all of your likes and subscribe so that you don't miss out on future conversations and tips for creative business owners. Thanks, everyone.